Welcome to Let's Talk Wargaming. I'm your host, Dom Maidlow, also known as Dark Techno Dom for all of you Realspace Raiders fans out there. That's the Drukari Podcast. So, with me today, I have another tabletop legend. This is the myth of the tabletop, the legend of the tabletop. This is JT Mc Dowell.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Dude, I'm loving it. I'm half a cup of coffee in, and it's gonna be a great day.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So me and you kind of met like a year ago because we had you on the Realspace Raiders podcast for the LV Nopen, and obviously there's no LV Nopen this year, but it was quite a great circumstances because we were both like big Drukari like lovers, and like it was the sort of a weird time where Reavers were 10 points. We just had like a weird codex, and we were trying to keep up with people, but our book was still competitive. And you wrote just an awesome list, awesome
Thanks,
list.
Man.
But how was the experience with the LV Open? Like it's a year ago now.
It's a year. I put on my baseball hat the other day, and I went, "Holy crap! This is a year old. This is crazy." And looking back, because not only was it a year ago that the LV Open happened, and we didn't even have a codex yet.
No.
And to be fair, I didn't run the Reavers. I was really tempted, but at 10 points, I thought, no, that's just crap. That's just not cool.
Yeah.
But it was 2 weeks after that I actually had a third knee replacement surgery. So it was literally it was a massive January last year, and I look back a year and I'm like, so much has changed and so much hasn't. But yeah, that Nopen experience was amazing. Peter the Falcon, it was his kind of brain idea, and Val and all the guys were involved, and we wanted to help Frontline as PlayOn. So we were totally into that, and it was an amazing experience. It was one of those things where just a congruence and confluence of great things in it, and I built a sneaky list, and took advantage of everything I could to make it work. And then our book came out and started smashing everybody shortly thereafter.
Oh my God.
yeah, the hate and the hurt was real, which was great. But there were so many people playing Drukari all of a sudden. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't know any of these guys.
Yeah. It was such a weird. I almost feel like we've had like the year of Drukari. It's such a weird thing because like it's been great for like us because we're constantly being competitive with everything we love, and we can literally just like blindly just go, I want that in my army, and it's going to be good apart from beasts. Beasts are just like next level, like bad. But, like going back to the old codex, because this 2021 still like had like our old codex in it. It's like everyone thinks that it's Drukari have just been around forever, just stomping everyone. They haven't. Like
no,
we had like we did have an okay like book. It kind of lasted the test of time. I want to ask you, what do you miss from the old codex? For me personally, I kind of missed the venoms and the profile of the splinter cannons.
You know what? That was actually a big part of my open list was 4 venoms with the Dark Technomancers and the overcharging, and shredding Magnus in my round 2 because the poison doing 2 damage was nobody saw that coming. They don't realize how powerful Dark Technomancer venoms are, and there's a reason why Dark Technomancer is an all-encompassing now, because when you start pumping up that many shots, it's ridiculous. I do miss venoms. I think that's definitely what I miss. What do I miss the most? I think I kind of miss the homunculus being able to take different weapons. I think that's one of the things I miss.
The whip, the electrocorrosive whip.
The whip.
I used to love that.
The electrocorrosive whip, and it was a great upgrade for racks too, because it suddenly made them really, really scary. I mean, racks are amazing as they are now. Their roles changed somewhat, but they're still really good. But I do miss being able to outfit my homunculi different, because I had I mean, I have a converted mask model that I turn into a homunculus.
Yes.
I have the original, the Vexator mask. I'm wearing your mask on my belt homunculus. I still have one of those in blister, believe it or not. I have all the old homunculi, the original liquefier gun with the big long, I'm pointing my gun at you homunculus.
Oh, those ones. Yeah.
And they've all been re-equipped with electrocorrosive whips because they were that good. So now it's just a dude with a whip. I feel bad.
Yeah.
But I miss that. I think that's what I miss the most.
Yeah, I there's a lot of things I miss from that, because like if like people listening, they're probably just tuning in to just see what we're chatting about. But like the old Drukari codex was good, and it like I always feel like we missed a trick, right? So that everyone ran Prophets of Flesh because of the 4-up pin button.
Yeah.
Well, he had a 5-up pin button anyway. So if you would have done the -1 damage, would that have not been even better?
It's funny. I tried it a few times, and it actually wasn't, because there was not the proliferation of 2-damage weapons that
Oh,
exists now,
yeah.
right? Because you pay for those 2-damage weapons now, whereas before you were either really a single damage or you were a massive multiple damage. So -1 damage didn't make that much difference, but the 4-up invuln did. That 16% extra chance to avoid actually taking anything was actually statistically better.
Yeah, God. Tell us
I know, right?
Yeah. Like it's madness. So what just briefly, what do you like about the new codex? What's been good for you?
Oh, you know what? What's not to like? It's amazing. This codex reminds me so much of what I think was probably the penultimate Warhammer Codex, which was the 4th edition Orc Codex, written by Phil Kelly. That codex, I don't know how many times I would go back to it and go, okay, well, as long as I make sure that I bring enough boys, because you got to have boys before toys.
Yeah.
But you could play anything. You could play what we call a speedwog now. You could play mechanized. You could play pure infantry. You could play elite. And that codex had all those builds in it. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then, the game changed, it evolved, because that was right at the tail of 4th, and it carried you through 5th. But our new codex reminds me a lot of that, because you literally can pick almost anything in the book and make it viable and make it work. It's not going to be necessarily super top A tier, but if you're smart, you can still make it work like that. And I think it's a real mastery of it. Codexes always need to have sort of the bummer units that don't work.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, everything comes around. Like for example, the new Wraith profiles that have been leaked, they look amazing. But for the longest time, Wraiths were kind of crap.
Yeah.
So now they're really good again. And it's that rotation that keeps things interesting. But yeah, no, I really love the flexibility now. You could almost play anything, and still have fun. Now, top tier competitive, you're kind of limited by what the meta is dictating. But still, you can throw some tricksiness in there, like Dizzy Ravagers.
Yeah, the Disney Rabbit. We were literally chatting about this just before we hit record, and we were talking about the list I ran at Twisted Dice the other day, and I was like, you know what, the list is really cool, but the one thing I would change is the Ravager. And then you were like, Dizzy Ravager. I was like, Dizzy Ravager. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, nobody expects the Dizzy Ravager. I don't understand why the Dizzies are like, you have to pay for those. It's I feel like they should just be stock on all the vehicles anyway, because the meta is loads and loads of damage. But nobody expects the Dizzy Ravager. But no, yeah.
It's time to build one and call it the Spanish Inquisition, right? Because nobody expects it.
No, exactly. What I've done, I've actually cut all the disintegrator guns off all of my Ravagers. I didn't mag them, so I had to I literally snap them off to put Dark Lancers on them. Now I'm going back to the Dizzies, like, because I had one Raider with one disintegrator cannon, and it was just like amazing. It was like, I think even with Genestealer Cult coming out as well, I think they're going to be really, really good. But anyway,
I think so too.
we could talk about Drukari like all day, but
Oh yeah.
let's get to some stuff that you've done for a bit. Like, you're a legend. You're a Play on Tabletop legend. So for people who don't,
I am the voice. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, this is the voice of Play on Tabletop, and it's a YouTube channel where they basically make the most epic 40k battle reports, and they're fairly short as well. So do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Sure. Well, for those of you who aren't aware of us, we take our flagship is our 40K in 40 minutes. We take an entire game of Warhammer 40,000, which can take 3 hours plus, and condense it down to 40 minutes. It's a bit of an effort to do for sure, but what it allows us to do is hit the high points and hit the beats that you need to see the story, and create something that you can watch over a lunch hour. Um, it's the 3 hour battle reports have a place, sure. Competitive battle reports have a place, sure. But sometimes you just want to get your 40K on and get a cool story and build it up, and away you go. And that was sort of the impetus for what we've done. This is going into year not 4, because one of our members is a little superstitious and 4s are bad. And so it's year not 4. But I'm personally taking a bit of a sabbatical from everything for a while, from just about everything for the next few months. So get some space and clarity. But that's the
Yeah.
team is still cranking the stuff out. You know, we had a lot of stuff in the can up to the end of the year. New seasons just dropped, and yeah, no, it's been a crazy ride with those guys, and we have done so much and worked so hard. It's sometimes I look back and go, how did we pull that off? And then I remember the sleepless nights and the excessive hours, and I go,
Oh,
yeah, that's how we did it. Yeah.
honestly, yeah. So the battle reports, there's something else there, because like you said, they are like 40 minutes. They're very condensed,
Yep.
but they're it's you can get an apocalypse game in 40 minutes. You can
Yeah.
get a whole
Yeah.
kill team game in 40 minutes, but all of them aren't kind of filmed in like the standard way, where it's like the camera's over the table and then
Yeah.
you've got like sort of like a dice tray here. It's all thematic. You have like smoke coming up. You have like you did a towel battle report where it was like people fighting in the sky. You've done apocalypse games where it's just a wall of space marines with endless swarms of nids. And then
That one was fun. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I think you've got a very good kill team battle reports, like when they first came out, because I remember seeing one model of yours that I always love the conversion of, and
Thank you.
it's for one of your grotesques. It's called Pyramid Head, and
Pyramid Head. Yeah.
it's awesome. And like I like before we became friends, like I was generally like a big fan of the way like everyone at PlayOn just like ran the videos, because it wasn't like it was almost like a brand new way of like digesting your 40k content. It was
Yeah.
different. It was different, and it really worked.
You know, it was a concerted effort to make it different. We wanted to, if we're going to do something and spend this kind of time and effort, we want to make sure that we're bringing something that isn't just noise.
Yeah.
And we've kind of set a bit of a trend. You know, our elevation of the battle report, to where we are comfortable with it and we're happy with the product, has made other battle reports better, and that is the best um, feeling in the world, to know that other guys have gone, hey, that's really cool. We can bring some of that too. I mean, you can see it in the opening sequence of some of the other battle report channels. You can see it when they're talking about models. You can see it when they're shooting the battlefields, and they're bringing. I mean, our goal was always to kind of bring to YouTube what goes on in your head.
Yes.
Because let's
Yeah.
face it, everybody makes fun of Nick for all the silliness that he is, but Nick is that silly. And yes, we all make the little silly noises when we whoosh our stuff around, because who doesn't? I mean, if you've ever bought a 40K airplane and you haven't made a whooshing noise when you've put it on the field, why are you playing? This is supposed to be fun, man.
Yeah.
This is enjoyable, and this is what, what we want to do is bring that enjoyment, that cinematic, story in our heads, like when you were a kid playing with action figures. This is what you saw and imagined, and the technology is such, and our skill set is such, that we can build the battlefields, we can add the post editing effects, We've got an amazing cameraman in Nick, and an amazing team in Ben and Tycho and Steve and Tack. Just amazing group of guys that get together and create these ideas and can we do it? Let's see if we can do it. And then we do it. And it's fun. It's genuinely fun.
See, that's what it's all about, because some people forget that it's not all about competitiveness and I have to have the best this, the best this.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a hobby. Like, we all love it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you maintain the quality of it and keep it original?
I think somebody made a deal with a Dark Lord somewhere. No, honestly, it's just passion. We really love what we do. The entire team loves what they do, and if we didn't love what we were doing, we wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
So the StarCraft battle, which was the Ultramarines versus the Tyranids in swarms and waves, TAC wanted to do that. TAC said, "Can we do this? Because everybody knows what the Hammerfall bunker looks like." So we thought, okay, can we do this? And we got Brent, who is a great guy in our community, to bring all of his Tyranids. And I built the table for that one, which took over my table at home for days and weeks to build that. And it was TAC had this idea. Can we do this? Okay. Can we? Yeah, we can do this. We can build this. We can make this work. And it just kind of came together. But it's those team efforts that are the best. And that's, I think, really where we show what we're capable of, is when everybody is striving towards that same goal and having fun doing it. So it's just, there's no secret, there's no magic. It's just effort. It's purely just effort, and that's what puts it out there. And it's a passionate effort too. So.
Yeah, well, it shows the quality of it. You tell in every single battle report that everyone cares about every intricate detail that's gone into this, and it's almost like, if it's not the best, it doesn't go out, because I've never seen anything remotely wrong with any of your videos. So,
oh, we do. We see it all the time. We know the mistakes we made, and we gloss by them, and they're up on YouTube forever, so people can find them.
Oh, that's true.
But we see them. We do see them. And thanks to our Patreon group as well, over on Discord, our patrons get early access to some of the stuff we do. Whether it's battle reports for Warhammer or some of the other systems that we engage in as well. They get early access to a lot of stuff, and they actually act as sort of that hidden editor, if you will. I mean, we edit and we review and we go through and we make sure, okay, this unit was named wrong, or this was spelled wrong. And because it goes to Patreon early, a lot of times they'll catch stuff like that we miss. And it's helpful. It's really, really helpful. That group over on our PlayOn Tabletop Discord, that was created by fans because we didn't have one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we were totally focused on building the battle reports, and we thought we should do Discord. Yeah, but who has time for that? I don't know. We don't really have time for that. Well, let's see if we can get it. And then now, created by our fans, and just amazing content over there too. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that must be so rewarding to have, like, you put so much effort in, and yes, you get the views, but it's not about the views. And then you suddenly get this fan base that's there doing, like, wanting to just get more and more from you. And
it's really cool.
It's good. That's amazing. I'm sure that's an amazing community to be part of as well.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That really is.
So, moving on, I've got a few like fun questions, because I asked a few people that knew that you'd be coming on today, and I think there's a couple of fun ones here. So, obviously, you're a lover of the hobby. So let's just start off with your favorite model to play with, and then your favorite model based on its looks.
Well, that's a good one. So my favorite model to play with right now. Does it have to be Drukari, or can it be anything?
It can be anything. Absolutely anything.
I mean, Pyramid Head always holds a special place in my heart. He's such a cool model, and that entire grotesque squad that I custom built back in 5th edition. They're some of my favorite models to play. My whole Drukari army and every iteration that I've played has got so much love in it that I really enjoy playing it. But one of my favorite models to play is actually the Eldar Warp Hunter. I own 3.
Yeah, that's the
3 or 4.
The Warp is the Warp Hunter, the Forge World model.
It's the Forge World model on the Falcon chassis with the giant F-off gun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I think I remember that from 7th when it was a D weapon.
D weapon,
Yeah, because I used to go to a lot of Apocalypse games. There was one Elder player who just used to have loads of them because everything in Elder was D weapons.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's probably my favorite model because I love bringing that out, and it's a cool looking model. I really like the paint job on it. And I love playing it. And people look at it and go, holy crap, what's that? Because it looks so much different than so many other things in my army. All my Eldar stuff is a mishmash of Forge Worlds because I've always been a big fan of the Corsair aesthetic, because that's really where I started, was with Eldar Space Pirates.
yes.
So I have different, I mean, like all my bikes are same hand, and then I've got some Luganeth, and I've got some Imlock, and I've got some Alitok, and then I've got all sorts of stuff, some Bealtan thrown in there too, and just so that it looks different, right? Ulthway, of course. But yeah, that's probably Warp Hunter, and then the Phantom. The Phantom Titan is probably my favorite.
Wow.
That's just so much fun to play.
I remember playing them with APOC as well in 7th, and they were nigh on unkillable because every time they advanced, you could only snap fire at them.
Yeah.
And it was back then, it was like hitting on 6s, but then
Yeah.
I think they were like the only unit that could fight in combat, like the monster that you have now. So you couldn't even tag them or try and stop them because they just go boff, or they would just run away.
They were so good.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cool model. That's a really cool model.
Yeah, that's in our APOC battle report, actually, my Phantom. And I love that model so much. It's one of the models I always wanted to get, like when I first started playing.
Yeah.
And APOC looks so cool. And then Forge World, and you hear these, like in North America, we get these dribblings of Forge World pre-internet, right?
Yeah.
So, ooh, what is that? Ooh, what is that? And the Phantom was this big bad voodoo daddy, if you will. And yeah, I've always wanted one of those. So that was pretty cool. But favorite one to play, like, yeah, that's favorite. And then what was the other half of the question? Favorite model now?
So you got the favorite
Or
model,
aesthetics.
and then aesthetic.
That's a tough one because I love the Metal Archon.
Oh, my face is your face, Archon.
Oh yeah, I've got one of those too. But even the next Metal Archon, I think he was 5th edition. I really like that model.
Oh, the one where he had
the Soul Blade or the Soul Fire, or whatever it was. Yeah.
I've tried to get that one. It's so cool.
Mine has had his left arm swapped and right arm swapped so many times.
Oh yeah.
All right, so he's got a Husk Blade. No, he's got an Agonizement. Okay, now he's got a Blast Pistol. Okay, now he's got a Splinter Pistol.
Yeah.
And mine's got an Incubi backpack on him just to make him look cooler.
Oh,
the old school metal Incubi backpack. So it's got the double skulls over his shoulders, which is pretty cool. Aesthetically, I think that's probably one of my. And of course, he's got an Incubi helmet too.
Yeah.
The Clavex helmet, I think. So yeah, that's probably my favorite.
There is a beauty of the old models, you know.
Yeah.
Like because I made Reapers, 4-drop Reapers, when just before our Codex drop, because I was like, oh, they're so good in Dark Technomancers, and then they all changed. But I made them out of the old Raider kits, and I actually have an old Vect model sitting on his nice. But without his arm. I don't know where his arm is. But yeah, so I basically I've got a load of old Raiders. I've got loads of old Cabalites with all of the poofy hair going
so
back.
Good.
My Beastmaster's an old Heliarch.
Wow!
The ones where they're like holding like the glaives. Like
I have 2 squads of those in my current list. The old school Hellions, the Green Goblin type Hellions.
Yeah, they're heavy as well. They are heavy.
Everybody says old Dreadnought in a sock. No. You throw 5 or 6 old metal Hellions in a sock, and you can definitely do some damage to somebody if they get on your nerves. Yeah. Those things are sharp, man.
Yeah, they are. They really are. But yeah, no, like there is such a beauty to the old models. So like the old Incubi, they're really nice as well, especially like the old poses with them, because they're I don't know, like I feel like new models now are looking a lot more like the newer version of the artwork, but the older models were just cool. I kind of like them. Anyway,
there's an aesthetic there,
Yeah, you need to pick your favorite model the way it looks. What is it?
Yeah, it's going to be the Archon. It's going to be that Metal Archon. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a classic. Okay, so
so good.
Yeah. So if you could buff any model Doesn't have to be Drukari. It could be anything you want. If you could buff any model, what would it be, and what would the buff be?
Buff any model.
Any model.
Huh. Any model. That's you know what? I've never really thought about buffing a specific model. That's a good question. Because there's so many that I can think of. Like the Wraithseer, I always thought was a really cool model, but it just seems like it's missing somehow.
Yeah.
Like it needs something a little more psychic power, and maybe more like I know originally they did it. It had like the 3 powers it could take, and now it takes Runes of Battle. But I think the Wraithseer has some play where it could be buffed. I think the Razorwing Jet Fighter actually needs to be buffed, or come down in point cost. Same with the Void Raven. I think those planes are just too expensive for what they do.
Yeah.
I think if one to buff,
What deserves?
That's a good.
What deserves its time in the sun?
The Beastmaster. The Beastmaster deserves his time in the sun.
Yeah,
I think so. It's such a throwaway model right now. Oh, you have to take him if you take beasts. Well, what does he do? Oh, you can use his leadership. That's it?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, give him like the Swarm Lord double move ability. That would be really cool. Now suddenly your Chimera are running up the field twice. Okay, so maybe they take mortal wounds if he whips them into a frenzy.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe he has a fight first that he can give out to somebody. But if the Beastmaster had either stratagems or abilities that he could actually kick out beyond just, oh, you use my leadership, I think that would actually be really, really cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool because I look at them, I look at the Beastmaster, and I'm just like, I guess you could be an action monkey or something. I guess you could take the Animus Vitae. I guess you could do this, but it's not. It's just so like passable,
Yeah, it's just
so
not worth
passable.
it.
No.
Yeah, but then that makes, by extension, the beasts better, which are struggling, which aren't that good. And I think that kind of any character that can make another unit better, I think the synergies are fun. And that's kind of like Space Marines have always had the very basic synergies. Oh, I give you a reroll. Oh, I give you this. Swarm Lord's double move ability is one of my favorite ones in the game because it is a really cool concept that he can force them through his will to make them move again. That's really cool.
It's very cool, isn't it?
Right. And I think any unit that is a babysitter unit, like mechs, for example, should be able to do something beyond just repair. Apothecaries should be able to do something. I mean, they kind of do now with their ability to bring stuff back and their master apothecary. I think they've got a pretty good feel, but there's characters in every codex like that. I think giving them a purpose beyond just a stat, I think makes a lot of sense. Would be really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that choice. That's a pretty good one. So next one. You can have any army, okay, but you can only play that forever, okay. But you can't pick Drukari. Because I know that's the first choice. But you can pick one. You can pick one army that you have to play to death, and that's all you can have. And you can't buy any models from any other faction. What would that one faction be?
Ooh, see, that's the thing is Corsairs are technically all the factions, so technically I'm still playing Drukari.
Going over the dodgy technicality.
But if it was all space elves are out, I'd probably choose orcs.
Orcs. Oh, that's cool. I like orcs. I used to have an orc army. I made a stomper out of plastic card and a cookie tin upside down.
Oh, fantastic. See, that's the best part about orcs. I have before all of the changes to all the guns and such, I actually have I think it was Anvil made a whole bunch of like small infantry support weapons.
Oh, the Anvil Industries, isn't there?
Anvil Industries, yeah. And they made a whole bunch of them, and I bought a ton. And I bought an absolute ton, and I made an entire Gretchen artillery force. So I have over 100 grots.
Wow.
Just to be the monkeys for all my guns. And I had such a riot with them. And this is back when you could have before the codex came out with all the super guns. You
Yep.
still had, mech guns, and then you had the artillery. And I have like what looks like an actual World War II gun on a turntable.
Oh,
Everything has the right base size. Everything has got sandbags. Everything has got all these little Gretchen running around, and some of them are Noblars because you run out of Gretchen and you want to have some difference. And
yeah.
they would sit behind an Aegis defense line, and they would, it was a blast, man. It was a riot, and it was still only like 600 points. And I'm like, how am I going to fill out the rest of my army?
Oh God.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
I played it at a charity tournament, and that was one of my favorite events. I tied every single game. It was a riot.
Wow. I bet that's never happened ever.
No, it was hilarious. I laughed so hard at the results because they were pretty good. But that was, I think, yeah, it would have to be like Orcs and Gretchen. I love that silliness that exists there because
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun.
So much creativity as well, and you can just
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like I've always liked the idea of like not Deathcopters, but the Orc bikers just to be in a single wheel. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like a massive wheel.
Somebody makes that. I saw that the other day. I saw somebody makes that the other day. Yeah,
cool.
I saw those. They exist.
Cool. I'll try and check them out because that'd be awesome. Now I want to make an Orc army again. God. Okay, so moving on. So if you could be, so we've just done that. If we could be, how would 40k end if you could make it end?
If I could make it end, hard reset and then have it come up with a whole new game like AoS? No, I would never do that. How would I make it end? Well, see, the easy answer is have Tyranids devour everything, right?
That was like my initial reaction. I was like, yeah, Nids just they just come through the warp somewhere and just everything dies.
it makes sense, right? Like Nids somehow get into the webway and then everybody's effed.
Yeah.
Right. I think what would be way more fun though, like way more fun, is if the old ones returned.
Ooh.
I think that'd be way more fun.
Ooh, I'd like that. Yeah.
The old ones returned, and suddenly everybody goes, "Oh crap!" And like chaos is literally smashed and shut out. They seal the gates, they seal the warp. So now only chaos can only get through actual people, through an actual medium, instead of just pouring in through rents. No, they're closed. They're done. The webway gets smashed, but the Eldar find a way around. So it's nowhere near as powerful as it was.
Yeah.
The Emperor rises because of this new threat, and it turns out that the Emperor is actually a fallen old one.
Ah, cool.
Like that would be kind of wild, right? Yeah. I think that would be cool. And then suddenly everything in the universe has to band together to fight whatever the old ones bring.
Okay, yeah, this is cool. This is almost like an end. It's almost like how Warhammer Fantasy kind of like ended with like this massive thing just coming out of nowhere, and then boom.
But it can't destroy it because the old ones need the universe to exist.
Yeah.
They just want to control it.
And then the game resets, and then we go into 50k.
Yeah.
30, 40, and 50k. There we go.
There you go.
Cool. I like that. I like that. That's a good answer. Last one. Then we gotta, because I think these are really fun. Then we're gonna talk about a little bit about 9th edition. If you could be a Space Marine unit and you're on the battlefield, which Space Marine unit are you going to be?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, I am big and slow, so Terminator makes sense.
Yeah,
Terminator would be cool. I am part robot because of all the metal parts in me, so I could be a Tech Marine. That could be it. But I think if I had a choice, I'd probably be a Dreadnought.
Oh, they're cool, aren't they?
Well,
yeah,
because you get to sleep all the time, to be quite honest, Dom. You only wake up what's important. The mundaneries of life go away. I don't need to eat. I don't need to drink. I don't need to poop. I can just, you put me in the box and I go fight. I'm done. All right, put me back to bed.
I always remember the first Dawn of War trailer.
Oh,
the Dreadnought down, the orcs are coming down the hill, and he just comes and it's like, and
so cool. And the crunching noise when he grabs the orc and
yeah,
and that
he spins his fist as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
so good.
yeah.
That'd be a dreadnought.
Yeah, Dread is cool. That's a cool answer. Oh god, I missed Dawn of War. Yeah, those good games.
I had a buddy of mine actually worked on Dawn of War 2. He worked
Really?
for the studio that built it. Yeah.
Oh,
And he's like, just so you know, when they were going to end bosses, I'm like, guys, what are we doing?
yeah.
Like, well, thank you for that. I appreciate it, my man.
So moving swiftly on to 9th edition now. So 9th edition's been pretty good, I think.
Yeah,
I think overall there's been some ups and downs with like how people play the mission, and it's been quite refreshing to have GW actually have a tournament pack now, and we can follow, because last time it was all for like the ITC if you wanted to do a bit of competitive play. So the mission's been good. We've got new missions now, and there's some subtle changes in how you like farm CP, because you've actually got to hold the middle objective in a few of the missions to be able to get that. How do you think that's going to affect armies who are really starved of CP? And do you reckon they're going to have to build like forward deploy units just so they can get the extra CP to
100%?
really
I think 100%. Yeah, 100%. They absolutely will have to. I just played one the other day, and on both of our first turns we went, wait a minute, we don't get a command point because we're not holding center objectives yet, and we're like, oh, and that was like, that alone just changes everything. That's such a subtle mechanic that you talk about, the holding objectives to gain a command point is so massive, because a lot of players, especially competitive players, already know what their command point spends are going to be. I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this. I need to save these two, and I need to have this one in case. And suddenly you take that away, and it's like, wait a minute, how do I redo this? I think it's also going to change list builds for sure, in the sense that forward deploy and troop choices suddenly become massive again.
Yeah.
And those armies that have really good troop choices, Drukari have racks that are really good for this role. Space Marines, let's face it, even tactical Marines are super good for this role now because they're cheap. The ability to finish things like deploy teleport homers, to be able to finish that on your turn instead of waiting a turn if you do it with a troop choice, is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
It's huge. And I think, I mean, ideally we would have got this change a year ago, but COVID. There's not a lot of play, so the lifespan of 9th, I think, has been extended simply because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even have all the codexes out yet, and we're 2 years into this almost, right? I think that this change really shakes up how the game plays. And honestly, the board size was such a huge change the first time.
Huge.
And I played on Saturday with my friend Tom, who's in one of my Kimura group chats. So if Tom's listening, how are you, buddy? And he won the game. Part of it was we played full table size. We played new mission. We both weren't very sure about it. But part of it was all of these things kind of added up. It was a single point. I mean, it was a couple guys hanging out in a garage.
Yeah.
But I really noticed very quickly how my current list that's been doing very well suddenly needs to change. More racks and venoms. Oh my goodness, venoms. Venoms, I think, are going to be huge. One of the stratagems that Drukari have right now is the murderous descent, which means you can jump out and treat your vehicles like a drop pod effectively. You can get out the moment you come in. And that ability to do so with a small footprint like a Venom that holds 6 models.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. If you have 2 of them coming in and blip down they go, how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to hold them out? You can't. So it's really big. And I think as we roll through 9th in these new missions, I'm really looking forward to how much it shakes it up. It's exciting. It's a new game again, and I think Games Workshop's really done a good job of engaging with everybody and getting the feedback. Maybe not as fast as we'd like, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's coming at a perfect time for when Gene Silicult have come out, because right now before Christmas, the meta was everyone's got -1 damage, or everyone's got like really high-end runs. Like we're talking Grey Knights, Drukari, and then the new monster builds. Like that is what is going down in the competitive scene at the moment.
Yeah.
G-Stiller come out with all these new missions where it's easier to score secondary, because they can come in within, I think it's 8 inches of you. So you're going to have to really screen if you don't want that deployed teleport homes for 4 points to come down on that turn 1, because it's 4 points if you're in the deployment zone and 2 points if you're, I think it's 12 away.
12 away, yeah.
Yeah, so they can do that really easily. So you've got to now, like if Space Marines, they've got perfect units, they've got the Phobos units, and they've got the Incursors who can start in midboard, and then they have I think it's them who have the bubble of 12 inches. You
12-inch no deep strike, yeah.
Very, very good. Very
Huge.
Very good. Yeah.
Hugely important.
I don't think monster builds are going to do that well in scoring the missions now, because it's MSU seems to be on the horizon, because you're going to have to try and combat all of these like small units of Custodies and small units of Genestealer cults with MSU as well, because you can't just have a big unit which is just going to fly around just like killing everything. It's going to be really interesting to see like how Genestealer cult after LVO. Well, I think this might come out after LVO, so we already know by then. But like, did they win it or anything like that? We don't know. Like, it's going to be really interesting to see how well they do, because they're going to take people by surprise. There's so much going on in that codex that people don't really understand the mechanics of it at the moment. So they're going to be taken by surprise. And same with the Custodes. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. So there also was some points changes, and
yes, there were.
Games Workshop gave us some nice previews as well, which is very nice of them. And one of your favorites, the Reaper, got a little cheaper, and so did the Tantalus, which is kind of nice for all the Drukari fans out there.
It is, yes. I have 2 Reapers. I have 2. I love what they're doing with the point updates, the point changes. I really think it's cool. I think it's trying to stay on top of it and make alterations to the game to make it more playable, to make it more balanced. And we were talking about before the call, the Necrons. Who has ever got a double buff?
No one.
This is a double buff. This is crazy good.
Yeah, this is it's kind of, I'm a bit scared by it, just because I know how annoying reanimation protocols is, and already in a game where they're going to be, because you can get CP if you're in the middle of objectives, they have a sept where you can pre-game move and your obsec. It's pretty good, right? So the notable buffs which have happened, I've just got it all written down here, which is the for the double buff, is the flyers got cheaper. Doom Scythe down 20, Night Scythe down 15. That's got a really interesting mechanic though, where it flies and you can teleport them down on the path that it flies. So they can go straight on objectives. Doomsday Arc, the big gunboat, down 10 points. All of the destroyers went down 5 points, and they were already everywhere, because
heavy destroyers are frightening.
Yeah, they really are. They're like that, because of all the intricacies of the first buff, which was that everything gets core. Now everything's just got cheaper. It's really lifted that army up, which is good, because like the release happened, like for everyone in England, like when the release happened, it was COVID, so we literally couldn't go out, and our rules were really strict because it was quite bad for us. Not saying it wasn't bad for everyone else, but it was because I live here, because from my experience I know it was bad. All of my friends who have Necrons, like they didn't get to play them, and then by the time we were allowed to like go to tournaments, something like that, Drukari had hit and was hitting hard, and it was almost like, oh well, we would have had 6 months in the sun, but now we just can't do anything against this. And now they're kind of like, all of the love that they've gone in from painting all the models in lockdown, they can now come out, and it's great. Like big points decrease was the Silent King. Yes. And the Obelisk and the other super heavy. You want those big models on the board. Well, not when Tau come out, because those look crazy.
Well, the thing with the Tau is they have. I mean, we've all seen the Hammerhead profile. That looks frightening, but I remind everybody it's still on what, a T6, T7 chassis.
Yeah.
It's going to get a shot and it's going to die. And
Yeah.
if you put 3 of them in your list, well, congratulations. What's your other 1,500 points or whatever it's going to work out to, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to have a ton of space. So as scary as that looks, it's not that scary. But the stratagem that they have that allows them to ignore an invuln with one model's weapon, I think that's even more powerful. I think that's even better.
Goodbye, Bellicor.
Right. So then you counter that with Gazgul Thraka and Satan shards that say I only take 3 wounds. So suddenly Gaz becomes really good against Tau because you can't take him down.
I love Gaz.
Oh, he's such a cool model too. My
What
goodness.
is amazing.
Oh, so good. I have, I think, all 3 Gaz models.
Oh, I still like the old one where he's just like all arms.
Yeah, it's just the
arms.
that one's painted up in red and white because he's Gazgul Thraka claws.
That's really
oh, it's a story there. I had a contest at a hobby shop and we had to make a Christmas theme, and I took old orc boar boys and turned them into reindeer. And I made a plasticard sled, and I took the old snotling pump wagon crew, and instead of throwing vegetables, I turned them into snowballs and put little hats on them with green stuff. And had a dude with a whip was the runt herd, and and then Gaz rode his Thraka claws. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh,
that was fun.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it was. So yes, I have all the Gazes, but that mechanic of I can only take 3 wounds, that becomes really, really strong.
Yeah, super strong.
That becomes really, really strong.
The what we have seen is, I know everyone was hoping for a Drukari points like increase, but we kind of had that, like, people need to realize things happen almost like 6 months in advance with Games Workshop. So it will happen, but probably won't happen until next time. And by then we probably won't be playing what we're playing now. So
exactly.
Can't keep up with us, Games Workshop. But the meta picks, right? So the meta picks have all gone up. So the Nemesis Dreadnought's gone up. They got a heavy nerf. That you can only take 1 Grandmaster now because you can't like mix and match your factions. So I'm quite pleased. I didn't like playing them because they were quite boring because they kind of just hung around the edges shooting you, and then when you're weak, then they come in. You got the Hive Guard went up, which is good. Like, no one enjoyed any of that, and
no more double Hive Guard silliness.
No, it's only a few points, but it's worth it. The Moriacs, which you saw loads of them, were being spammed because now they were OBSEC with the counts as 5 models. Then the Buggies, thank God, they're all gone up. And I messaged one of my one of the people I played at the nice tournament. He was just like, yeah, my list just by Buggies has gone up 80 points, and I was like, oh yeah, good. No, you can't fit the wax bomber.
Volkites went up too. Volkites went up. Thank goodness.
Not by much though. It was only like 10 points,
but enough to be frustrating, right? Which is good.
Yeah, I mean, you just
like they need more.
Yeah, I mean, like, without Volkites and Vanguard Vets, I don't know how Space Marines can keep up. But the meta is going to change now, so hopefully, like, because I do like having Marines on the table because they're nice to kill. And
it feels good, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, like, that's kind of like the point. It's nice that we're getting these. They're really making a conscious effort now to every 6 months they're going to change everything around and make sure that all the bully units like just keep getting reset. Like, hopefully they sort out their Harridan, because one of the UK players, he's number 2 like in our rankings, and he must be like top 10. He's called Malik. Like, he's a very well known player. He just came second in one of the big GTs here with his Harridan, and he was saying, like, it's just busted. Like, it's almost uninteractable because it's got so many wounds, and with all the buffs, it's crazy good. And our poisons, it doesn't even work on it because it's a super monster.
It's a Titanic,
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna have that every 6 months, which is nice.
It is.
So let's kind of wrap things up here. And so you're obviously very into the hobby, and like your work, you're entrenched in 40K. But
Yes.
I was watching the other day when you were on the Skari's stream, and it wasn't 40K that you were painting.
No.
What were you doing?
I was building some Gargants. I was building some Man Crushers. Sons of Behemat. The Imperial Knights of AoS. Uh, I'm building them. I really love the look of them. I love the mechanics. I think the new AoS, they've done a really good job. When it first came out, it was complete crap. I'll be perfectly honest. I looked at it and went, "What is this? What's going on? I am not touching that game." And that might be because it got written down in the big book of grudges. Because I'm a dwarf player from fantasy days, and the Dawi have always held a special place in my heart. I have my battalion box still sitting in the closet. They're completely unusable. Okay, yes, I know they're usable, but no, they're completely unusable. I flatly refuse. All my Thunderers with actual kilts and tartans painted, which is not easy to do,
No.
but they sit there now, and I was a lot of bitterness for a long time. But
Yeah.
the new system, when it came out, we did it on our channel. We did it live the day of, and we were lucky to get the models early. And myself and I kind of games mastered, if you will, and a friend of ours, Brent and Nick, played, and I thought the system was fantastic. I thought, what a great, fun, quick and easy. Nothing super involved unless you really wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And I love the idea that I can kick objectives. I think that's hilarious. Um, you know, I can kick an objective. I can what? I can actually affect the game with
Yeah.
my. This is cool. I'm doing that. So yeah, I've got a whole Sons of Behemat army.
Oh, that's awesome. There's some rules that I really like in Age of Sigmar, because I was talking to someone at the London Open because they had the Age of Sigmar tournament there as well, and he was telling me his rules and everything, and he told me that about Nagash, and I was just like, oh yeah, what does he do? Nagash, he goes, oh, he literally can go up to a unit, and you put a dice in your hand, and if they pick the wrong one, that unit dies. No, what do you mean it dies? It just take mortal wounds? And there's like, no, you just remove it from play. It's like, what? Could you imagine that in 40K? That would
It'd
be
be so
so
ridiculous.
busted. Oh, and I like how they got who's the famous dwarf who was in the audiobooks? It's Brian Blessed is his voice.
Gotrek, Felix,
Yeah, he's he's
Gotrek. Yeah.
he's awesome in the game as well. He's like a counter to your behemoths, I'm pretty sure, because I've met some other Age of Sigmar players and they were also talking about it, because it's crazy. But I just love how the lore in Age of Sigmar is really like prevalent in the game, and things have kind of played how they should play.
Yeah.
Um, Also, they just get better models than us. They really do. Like the ones
Oh,
that get released are just beautiful.
they're fantastic. It's got to be a real joy for them to work in completely redoing an entire line, because I mean, let's face it, AOS needed to happen simply because
Yeah.
the rules that Games Workshop used to have about if you were a GW stockist, you had to carry this core amount of models.
Mm.
And I can't tell you how many local game stores had these racks and racks of fantasy models that nobody was buying because they already had their army. Because
Yeah.
the system was really dead.
Yeah.
It was a great system. It was fun to play. It needed a reboot. I'm still bitter because I'm a dwarf, but that's the way it is. It's in the
A,
Grudges book.
a reboot and a rebase. No more
Yeah.
bases.
Oh, don't even tell me. But it needed it because it was dying, and to be able to rebuild an entire system, to write the lore for it, to build the models for it, to make it fit, unlike every other system that exists. For the big ones that have been around, it's got to be a joy to do, and I think they're doing a really good job with it, because it's completely their own now. No Lord of the Rings knockoffs, no, cyberpunk knockoffs, and we can all think of other game systems that exist out there that are
Yep.
copies of, that are derivative of, and this is kind of derivative of our own product, but more so. And I really think they've done a great job with it. So I'm really excited for it. I can't wait to finish them.
I've been trying to like dabble in some of the other Games Workshop games. Like I've really got into Necromunda, and I really just painting the models. I just love the Goliath. I made them like so they're all green mohawks and put souls faces, and they were they're basically just like Joker's henchmen. It was how I kind of
That's awesome.
And then I've got we did Secret Santa with some people, and we did Blood Bowl. So we've chosen a Blood Bowl armies, which is really cool. The hobby is fantastic, and
it really is.
It's nice to have a break from 40k now and again, just to kind of like hit the reset button. Especially if you like myself, I play a lot of competitive play. It's nice to just have like different projects.
100%.
But so I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you so much for coming on this
thank you, Dom.
little talk show. And if anyone was to try and find PlayOn and anything else that you've done, how would they find it?
You can find PlayOn on YouTube, PlayOn Tabletop. We are on YouTube all over the place. There's our Patreon as well, so it'd be great if you wanted to support us. That'd be fantastic. You can find me personally. I don't post as much as I should, being on sabbatical, but JT Custom Paintworks, all spelled with K's because K's are funny. WERKS too. It's like some, I don't know, 80s German prog band or something. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was fun. But that's where you can usually find me and see the stuff I'm working on. And because right now, like I said, I'm on sabbatical. I'm not doing anything for the next several months. I'm working on me. I'm doing things that sometimes you need a hard reset. You get old, right?
Yeah.
And it's been a real struggle for the last couple of years for a lot of people, including myself. And I thought, you know what? I have the opportunity now, and I'm just going to take it. So I encourage people who have that chance to do so, because the perception and my enjoyment, my excitement for doing things again is coming back, and that's huge. Because you get bogged down, and anybody out there who's struggling with focus or what have you, sometimes just take a reset, even if it's just a weekend, man. Even if it's just a couple hours, take a nap. They're good.
Yeah, exactly. And having strong trying to keep up with a good mental health is always a good thing, and just to look after yourself is the main thing.
It is.
Yeah, so thank you so much, JT, and thank you for everyone who's watching. And I'll post links to everything where you can find down below. And please like and subscribe and follow if you're watching this on YouTube. And you can find me on the Instagram as well. And this has been just Talking Warhammer, and this is Let's Talk Wargaming. See you soon.